Hey everybody, it's Old School Heart back with another review for you guys. If you haven't already gotten a chance to, please go back and look at Queen Sugar episode 5 review that I do. Also, if you haven't looked at any of the previous episodes that I've done for Queen Sugar already, go ahead and look at that. I also did an album review on Tamala Mann's new CD called One Way. So if you love gospel music, go ahead and look at that. I have a couple of videos that are up. So please like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Today's video is actually going to be another album review, and I'm so excited. This one is going to be on Solange's new album called A Seat at the Table. So this weekend, if you got a chance to go anywhere on social media, you heard about Solange's new album, A Seat at the Table. Tracy Ellis Ross transformed her whole face and body to resemble Solange's album cover. You had different artists saying kudos to her and giving her an applause for this album. You had Black women saying that this is the album of the year. And so, of course, when you hear stuff like that, you like, look, I got to take a look at this, listen to this album. And I am so happy I did because this album for her most definitely is monumental. This album for Black women and Black people in general is monumental. And this is what I want to say. We got a lot going on in society right now. We literally are fighting for our lives, it seems, as far as Black people are concerned. The Black Lives Matter movement is vibrant. It is just an amazing group of young people resisting what everybody has always considered the norm as far as dealing with police in our communities. And what we're saying is no, not anymore. Like, we're not going to keep silent. We're going to tell our story. And so what I love that is happening with some of our celebrities and some of our artists is they're not quiet. I love that Solange in this album, A Seat at the Table, she is putting her own unique mark on the reflection of the times. And I will say this, it kind of reminds me of Marvin Gaye in the sense that Marvin Gaye had a brother that went to the Vietnam War. And when he came back, his brother was telling him these horrible stories about the Vietnam War and how it had just transformed his life and how he, it just made him a lot more nervous and a lot more scared. And really how it just really was a war that we did not need to be a part of, and how Marvin Gaye came up with what's going on. And so to me, this is Solange's What's Going On. And I'm glad that she is reflecting the times in her own unique way. And I will say this, every artist has a right to express themselves on what's going on in their own way. It does not have to be a certain way. And we as Black people have to understand, like, however people decide to protest or to show their agreement with organizations like Black Lives Matter is up to them. We don't have to choose for them how they're going to be. And so I'm excited that Solange took her music in a way that was different from everybody else and put her spin on how she feels about what's going on. And so I think that it's important that every artist at least speak. Nobody should be silent at all, but we should not dictate how a person reflects their outrage and what they have to say about what's going on. So I am totally here for Solange's body of work. And can I just say, I just love this album. I love this album. So, okay, so her album starts off with a song called Rise. And it's just everybody has their introductory song, like a song that it's good, but it's not like really high. It's not going to be high on your list. It's something you're probably going to skip. And that's okay. I mean, It's a good starter song. I wouldn't say it's one of her best on the CDs. It's probably one of my least favorites out of the whole album, but I will say it fits the album as far as the flow of the album. And I talk about the flow of the album like I did on Tamala Man CD. The flow of an album, like I was saying with Tamala Man, she does like she goes praise, 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 worship, 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 praise, 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 worship, worship, worship. Where in an R&B album, you always want to start off with a little bit more, just like in I guess in a gospel CD, you always want to start off with a little bit more um, upbeat, more songs. Yeah, pretty much upbeat songs. And so Rise is upbeat, but it's very political. The lyrics are very good. Like I said, it's just not a song that you're going to be like, yes, it's an introductory song. And so I think after you start to listen to the album a lot more, like I did to review this, you're going to probably skip Rise. And I guess just, I mean, there's no other way to say you'll probably skip Rise. And some people, hey, may like Rise, but I'm not one of them. And then Weary. Weary is one of my top 5 songs. And I don't know why I put top 5 because literally I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have top 5. Okay. So I have a top 5 and maybe top 6. So Weary is just, it's a good song. You're going to want to hear Weary quite a bit. I loved it. Don't have much to say about it because in my mind right now it's not clicking and I do not know why. But Weary is a really good song. And then it goes on and Cranes in the Sky. So this is where I messed up. So I do have top 6. Cranes in the Sky is the first song that like literally hit me because I went in order. I'm not going out of order. The way that she wanted those songs to go is the way that you should listen to them. No shuffling, no putting it in your own little order. That's the way that she wanted the album to go. So I'm going in the way that the album goes. So Cranes in the Sky is the song that hit me first. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, I had to repeat that because it was just dope. Like, it's really a good song. And it's probably like my number 3 song. Number 3, because my number 1 song is Mad. My number 1 song is Mad. My second is Fubu. And then my third, to me, I know it's gonna sound weird, but Don't Touch My Hair is like my third favorite song. And I have my own particular reasons. Like for me, I look for a melodic flow. I look for I like to hear different variations of people's voices. And so for me, I look for I like to listen for the voice. And so Fubu is probably up there so high because of her and I'm jumping, I'm sorry about that. Her and BJ the Chicago Kid. So that's why my top 6, because I ain't gonna call it top 5 no more. My top 6 is the way that it is. So let's just get back into After Cranes in the Sky. The next song is Mad, which is on my top 6 list. And this one is going to be a fan favorite if it isn't already. It's the epitome, to me, it's the epitome of how we feel in the moment right now. Like if we had to take a time capsule, and this is what music is all about. When you listen to music, it should take you to a time capsule of how you felt in that moment. So for like my dad, when he said he would listen to what's going on, he knew exactly how he felt in that moment or how his parents felt in that moment. It's just like when you heard Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, how you felt in that moment. And so for Mad is exactly how we feel in this moment. And when we look back on this 5 years from now, when we look back on this for 10 years from now, we're going to go back to Mad and go, man, it was a lot going on at the moment. There was this football player named Colin who would not stand up for the national anthem. There was a lot of police brutality and killing going on, and we're not getting any justice. There was a lot of violence in Chicago. where I live. A lot of violence in Chicago, no jobs, blah blah blah. This, Hillary and Trump was running for president. So there are so many parts of this that reflect who we are right now. Mad is one of those songs that you would continuously play because it has a melodic flow, and Lil Wayne is also on there. So it's one of those albums that you songs on the album that is a reflection of the times. If I had to say any song on there was a reflection on the times, Mad is one of them because she actually has two. So then it goes on to Don't You Wait. And Don't You Wait is one of those songs, like I said, it's kind of like Rise, which is one you're going to kind of skip. Don't You Wait is one that's probably one that you'll skip. It's not very memorable. I can't even think of how it sounds right now. And in my mind, I'm still thinking about Don't Touch My Hair. So it's not a song that you're going to remember very well. And then it goes to Don't Touch My Hair. And hopefully I said that right. Hopefully Don't You Wait is before Don't Touch My Hair. If not, the switch to two because I totally have forgot. Don't Touch My Hair is most definitely probably her number one song on the album. It's the one that everybody keeps talking about. It is also like Mad in a way that it's a reflection of the time song. It's a reflection of the time song. That's all I have to say about it. It's just like Mad. When you hear the song, it reflects how just Black people feel in general. Like, you like us, but then you don't like us. Like, you want to be like us and you want us around, but you really don't want us around. Like, you'll kill us in a minute. If it had to be me or you, you'd pick you. And that's what this song kind of reflected to me. It's, like I said, it seems to be everybody's favorite song. It's most definitely on my top 6 list. Like I said, it's not like my favorite because, like I said, I like melodies, I like harmonies, I like to hear people's voices, and so it wasn't high up there for me. But I could see why for Black women in general, the love for this song is way up there. So that one is really good. And then the next one is Where Do We Go From Here? And this is where she shows her vocal ability. She has a very sweet falsetto that you'll hear through this song. And this is where she shines. Most of the CD is political, but that song in itself is just amazing. It's beautiful. It reminds me of like roses and flowers. It's just a really pretty song, and she does a very good job in singing this. So if you ever thought that Solange could not sing, this is the song that will let you know she can really, really sing. And then it goes on to FUBU, or For Us Bass. And it has The Dream and BJ the Chicago Kid. And it's on my top 6 list because this song is so dope. What I love about it is there's a part in there where she says, when you pulling up to your cab and they ask, where do you live? Again, this shit is for us. Like, pretty much. Like, this song ain't for nobody else. This is for us. This is for all the drama we have to go through. This is for all the bullshit we have to put up with. And I love how she keeps saying this shit is for us. And the dopest part of the song is at the end with her and BJ, the Chicago Kid clown. And I'm from Chicago, so I love me some Now Laters. If y'all know about his CD, y'all know about the Now Later song. But it reminded me at the end of this when her and BJ clown and they do harmonies together. What it reminds me of is, like, how the pastor still wants there to be music while they're doing a prayer or while they're ending the service, and then like the soloist like kind of clowns, and you try to listen to the prayer, but it's like, dang, they sound kind of cold. That's what this reminds me of. Like, dang, they sound kind of cold. So this is like probably number 1, number 2 for me. Like, out of the 6, this is like number 1 and number 2. I love this song. And you know what? BJ the Kid, for some odd reason, sounds like Bilal on this. Like their voices are similar. And I don't know if anybody else got that, but to me, that's what it sounds like. Then it goes on to Borderline, which Borderline to me is a really cute I'm on my way home from work song. It's been a long day. I need some wine. I need to wind down. Um, it's okay. Like it's not on my top six list, but it's not a bad song. It's not like one you would skip. It's the song that you could keep playing the whole way through the album. It's not something you're gonna skip at all. Um, then we go to Junie, and Junie is like funk crazy. Like if you're a little bit more old school, like me, I'm mostly old school. You will love this because the bass is like killing. Not only is the bass killing, the piano is killing, and the harmonies are on point. This is another song just like what song is that? I can't think of the other song, but this is another song just like the one that I was telling you about, where her vocals show the most, like she did with her falsetto. That was Where Do We Go From Here? There we go, because I hate not knowing. But Junie is just like that. It's got a lot of funk. It's got a lot of harmony. Um, and I loved it. I love Junie. And you will too. You will too. Some people probably will be like, I don't like Junie, but if you're an old school person like me, you love Junie. Then it goes to the sexiest part of the album, and it's the Wish Me Well. Wish Me Well is really sexy. Probably the only sexy song that she has on the CD. Um, the song says, "I'm going all the way. I'll leave. I'll leave on the lights for you." Like it's got some really sexy, deep lyrics. It's an empowerment song, and empowerment songs to me are sexy, especially when women are singing them and they're declaring independence. I'm gonna be I love them. So that's just me. I just love those. And then the last song on the CD is Scales, and it's probably one you could skip too. I mean, some people may like it because of the lyrics. It's really good lyrics, but Scales Scales is it's it's not as good as Rise. I think Rise, no, Scales is better than Rise. And so there's like three or four songs on this CD that I talked about that you're probably going to skip. And I did say three songs. Rise, Don't You Want, Don't You Wait, and then Scales to me are the songs that you're not really going to play a lot. So let's get to the interludes though. So the interludes to me reminds me of Kendrick Lamar's like Good City. I mean, Good Kid, Mad City. And the reason why I loved Good Kid, Mad City is because you hear his parents through the whole thing, and they're splitting a lot of knowledge. Like on that song "Real" with Anna Kendrick that he does. Like, man, when you hear his daddy and what his daddy says, and if you don't have that album, please go get that album. But what his dad says on that is just like cold. His dad and his mom speak on that. I just love that. And so this is what it reminded me of. I love that she let her mother and her father speak on there. And her mother really, it just seemed like her and her mother was having a talk. And what I would say is this: if this album does anything for you, you need to be sitting down with your family, or sitting down with your mother or your grandmother or your great grandmother if they're alive, and just talking through what's going on in society right now. Because for them, this is nothing new. This is just repetitive. And they may even have be able to tell you um, just how it was before they even got here and what their parents had to go through. But this album should just make you want to talk to your family about what's going on and hear their perspective. And I just felt like when her mother was talking and when her dad was talking, it was like sitting at the table and she's just soaking it in, just with a cup of coffee, just soaking it in what they have to say. Well, mom, what do you think about this? And so Tina gave the business. Tina said, I don't understand why we can't love ourselves and not love y'all at the same time. We can do both. And I just loved that. And it reminded me of Kendrick Lamar. Also, uh, she had Master P on this album, and that was kind of cool to hear him just talk about his way going through the industry and how he made the top 40 out of 40, how he made the Forbes list, how he didn't give up on his dreams, how he didn't take the $1 million. And once again, to sit down with somebody and um, understand their journey and understand why they took no and why they pressed through and stuff like that. That's what I felt like the reason why she had Master P on there is because it's a good lesson for all of us to learn, and especially these younger people. And a lot of younger people may not know who Master P is. They may only know his son, but please know his hustle. Please know that the way that he conducted his business was not like any other. And so for me, what I got was Solange was just soaking up a lot of information and wanted you to hear what she was hearing. It's so easy to make your own type of uh, opinions about what's going on and for you to hear yourself, but to have someone else explain it to you is what makes this album dynamic. What makes this album so real and so relatable to others is you know, just letting people reflect on their own experience and what they had to go through. And one of the things that he said that I loved is when he was talking about, about drugs and the community and stuff like that. He had said, what did he say? Oh, he said, we didn't have no rehab. You better rehab yourself. And it's so you better rehab yourself. And it's so it was such a bold statement. You have to rehab yourself. And I love that he said, shoot, you market yourself. I'm not worth $1 million. I'm worth $50 million. So if this man was gonna give me 1 million, I bet you I was worth more than that. There were things in this album that were said that will stick with you and make you reflect. An album should do that. And like I said, they should reflect the times. And this album most definitely is an accumulation of everything that's been happening in 2015, 2016. Even let's just go back to 2013 when I believe Trayvon Martin was shot. And so this album was really amazing. Um, she also does an interlude with Kelly, and that their melodic voices, Kelly and Nia Anderson. Last name was Anderson. I don't know if the first name is Nia, but that one was cute. And I will say this: I feel like she's coming into her own. I feel like her husband is a reflection of her coming into her own. I think he's a mastermind and he was able to create magic with her, to create that black magic, black female, feminist, dominant person that we see in Solange now. She needed to create herself and put a mark in for herself. And I see where you could where it would be difficult to be yourself when people have already just called you the sister. She's more than the sister. You see that in this album because she reflects what's going on in our society way different than her sister, and that's okay. It's okay to have different variations, like I said, of what's going on. And she still has a beautiful voice. For those of you guys who think that she doesn't really have a good voice, she most definitely does. And so I will say go buy this album. There's only 3 songs that you're going to skip out of that. There's about 20 songs on here, including the interludes or whatever, but you probably are only going to skip 3. So the album is Solange, A Seat at the Table. Please go take a listen to it. Buy the album. Support her, especially because you're going to want this in your collection, especially when you look back 15 years from now. And just like people do with their What's Going On albums, you're going to want this in your collection. It's just one of those. So please be looking out for the album review I'm going to do on Fred Hammond as well. Y'all, that one's gonna be a good one too. So please like and comment and subscribe and look at all the other past videos. Thank you. This is Old School Heart. Have a good day.